From the basement of La Penta, it's WICR.
Hello everyone, Jersey Joe back in action, and we are rolling along with today's show. Time to get into a little bit of hockey now. Don't really talk a lot of hockey during the year because there's just not a lot of time with it, with everything else, with soccer, with basketball, with football, both kinds, with everything else. It's just very hard to follow the NHL regular season. But I've always felt this way every year I've done this show, is the NHL playoffs offer such a great product that really is unmatched by a lot of the other sports. I mean, when you have all these games going to overtime and the speed and the intensity, and you really get the best of the best, there's no questions about who you're watching. It's just great stuff. It's great content, and I really enjoy it. So I watch the NHL playoffs more casually than the other sports, but again, I still doesn't take anything away from my enjoyment. The one series that, again, I love watching the Blackhawks. They've kind of been the cream of the crop for me since my team, the San Jose Sharks, always seem to disappoint me. I always get enjoyment out of watching the Blackhawks, and in their series with the Nashville Predators, it's been incredible to watch so far. Now, again, Chicago's up 3-1 in this series. They win last night 3-2 in three overtimes. After this first overtime, I had to get up early today, so I just couldn't watch it, and it ended up being 3 overtimes, but Chicago gets it done, and obviously the story has got to be Scott Darling. I mean, again, I've never thought from watching the playoffs the last couple of seasons that Corey Crawford was the cream of the crop, but he certainly seemed like he was a serviceable goalie, and he's gotten off to a rough start. Joe Quenneville made the decision. Look, Scott Darling, how could you not be impressed with the guy? I mean, 50 saves last night, a .962 save percentage. I mean, I think in the game before that he had like 35 saves. In the first game he had 40-something. The guy has just been incredible, and it's not like he's not getting a lot of looks. I mean, he is being tested constantly. Nashville is a very good team. They seem very quick. They seem very adept. I mean, look, Chicago's up 3-1 in the series, but it's a very deceiving 3-1. I mean, they've had to fight just every ounce of their talent has had to come out for them to really get into this position right now. And look, they're going to be in business getting out of this series now with the 3-1, winning in these very difficult games. But the only thing I would probably wonder is this, I mean, this has taken a lot out of them. I think they've expended so much energy in this series with all these overtimes, really fighting tooth and nail against the Predators. Is it kind of going to affect them in the next round? It's very well a possibility. And what do you do with Scott Darling? Do you worry about Corey Crawford? Because I know that's always a big thing in hockey, is the goalie's mentality. I mean, it's such a rare thing that you want to protect because, again, this is the guy you've had all year. Is this just a hot goalie that you've got right now in Scott Darling, or is this just a guy who's just extremely talented? I don't know. I mean, it seems like everything that you hear about the guy back when you look at his stats and when he was in the AHL, it seemed like he was fantastic there as well. But, I mean, when you just look at what Darling's doing, he's just incredible. I mean, all you really need to do is watch if you watch 5-10 minutes of any of the games that he's played so far, and you see the barrage of shots that he's stopping, you can just kind of tell that the guy's got it. He's really good. And overall, though, it's just been a great series. Chicago, I mean, when it gets to overtime, I kind of just have that feeling in my gut that they're going to get it done. I mean, they showed last night a graphic with all the guys on this team who've scored overtime goals for them. And over the last couple of seasons, I mean, they've won 2 Stanley Cups, and they've gotten into a lot of overtime situations. And I think it really speaks to the depth in the character of their team that they have so many guys who've stepped up. I mean, look, you have the guys like Patrick Kane with 4 of them. You have guys like Taves with 3 of them. And the guys you would expect, but I mean, you have Shaw and other guys who were scoring these goals. I love the depth and the lines that they have on Chicago. I've always been a big fan of Joe Quenneville. I think they're just a great team, and it's been a fantastic series, like most of them have been. But I definitely don't think I've gotten as much enjoyment out of any of the series as I have with Chicago and Nashville. Again, probably destined for another overtime based on the way things have gone. But the way Scott Darling has played, the way everything has gone for Chicago, it's been a blast to watch. And again, last night, one of the tough ones. Look, I'm rooting for the Islanders. I am. I really want to see Rangers Islanders as much as anybody. But again, it's kind of been back and forth last night. A very, very tough loss in overtime for the Islanders. I actually missed the goal. I switched to the Wizards game for a couple minutes, was watching that, expected to come back to this. And of course, you see the result that Washington wins. And that's probably the only thing that kills you about this time of year is there is so much to watch, and you're going to miss certain parts. I mean, like my friend Jody always says, it's impossible to watch everything. I mean, you can try your best, but you're going to miss certain things. You always do. I mean, and that's the way, unless you have an ultimate command center with just tons of TVs. I am working on that, by the way. You are probably going to miss certain parts, and again, that was one of them last night. But again, it'll be very fun to see what happens tonight. I kind of like it. It's kind of nice in the fact that I can watch the NHL playoffs more casually than the other ones. The other ones, I kind of have to be glued to it. You can't really miss anything. But the NHL playoffs, you can kind of just sit back, turn your brain off, and just enjoy it. And that's one thing you certainly get out of the NHL playoffs. It's just so much enjoyment. You really always do. It's just a lot of fun to watch. Tonight, though, very big. I mean, the Rangers and the Penguins, obviously, the one that you're kind of clinging your hat to with how competitive it's going to be. And I like the Rangers' chances here. Again, from me, the way I look at it is I always give the edge to the team with the better goalie. I think that Pittsburgh is a very good team as well. But if you're making me choose like I've had to in the past against Marc-Andre Fleury and Lundqvist, I think it's a pretty easy decision. I've never been a fan of Fleury. I think he was awful last year. I really do. I mean, when you look at them last year against Columbus and how competitive that series was, it all came down to goaltending. I think it was Bobrovsky for Columbus and how good he was in net, much better than Marc-Andre Fleury. It all just came down to the Penguins, of course, Malkin and Crosby and all the talented players that they have. But at the end of the day, I think these series all really come down to the goaltending. It just really seems to. Montreal and Washington and Ottawa tonight, of course, will be another interesting one. They've just kind of, it seems like the last 2 years, they've really just kind of put their foot on the gas pedal in these opening rounds and just haven't even looked back. But it should be interesting with all the things that are going to happen. Looking forward to it. But honestly, like we started at the top of this segment, I just want more Blackhawks. I really do. I mean, I just really want them. If we got, which I kind of wanted our Stanley Cup final last year to be Blackhawks Rangers, I would love for it to be Blackhawks Rangers in that final two for the Stanley Cup. Two original six teams, so much history and nostalgia behind the two of them. And I think that's the biggest thing that you've got to appreciate when you get to this point is when you get that. I mean, think how, if you're a fan of classic hockey and you really know the history of the game, if that's the Stanley Cup final you are in store for so much. It brings back so many memories of Esposito and Hull and Giacomin and all those guys and Stan Mikita. I mean, you just can't get better. It just gets me excited thinking about it. That is what I'd really like. And I had to say on the morning show yesterday where I interned at WFAS, I would pick the Rangers in that series. Kind of was forced my hand there to do it because I'm in a room full of Rangers fans. But at the end of the day, I do think that the Rangers would have a very good chance because, again, like I just said, it all comes down to goaltending. And Corey Crawford, I don't know what's going to happen with him moving forward, but I think Scott Darling is making Joe Quenneville's decision kind of easy for him based on the way that he's played now. I don't know if he'll start Corey Crawford again in the next series or if you ride the hot goalie's hand. I think in this case, with everything you've seen from Scott Darling, you'd be kind of crazy not to continue to play him because it's not just that he's played well, it's just he's played incredibly well. I mean, I think if even for somebody like me who hasn't watched a ton of hockey this year, if you had just shown me Scott Darling and I didn't know Corey Crawford had been the goaltender all year, I would have thought that this guy was one of the best goalies in the NHL. That's how well that he's played just behind the net. He's been incredible, but certainly we'll continue to monitor that. Certainly we'll continue to watch more NHL playoffs hockey. Coming back, though, in a minute with some NFL. Obviously, the schedule's coming out, and I gotta be honest, it's a little nuts seeing on SportsCenter people picking the schedules, the results, when the season is a little bit far off, but we'll address that in a minute. Stay with us, and we'll be right back.